Yeah.
Yeah, great. So I'm going to move out of the way. Oh my God, you have 42 slides.
But I try to be very fast.
Oh, Jan is here too. Okay, Jan is the person who does our, in fact, you know what, let's Jan come in and then we should introduce ourselves. Because I don't think Sarah has met Jan either.
Okay.
No. She runs the academic English class, Sarah, so yeah.
It's because I just want to read.
Okay, I understand.
I'm joking. I'm
Just waiting. Are you there, Jan?
Yes, hi.
Hi, nice to see you. So I'm gonna just move to one side and ask you and Sarah, who's also here, and Fabiola to introduce themselves. Do you want to sit in the chair?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Corinne.
Okay, no worries.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm sorry. I'm going to say I'm sorry for my English, okay? My name is Fabiola. I'm from Brazil. And I finished my doctorate in developmental psychology. And also I have interdisciplinary formation in Portuguese literature and also education. And now I'm going to present you my job there, which is a project to teach Portuguese for international migrants, but not only Portuguese culture and other issues related to the integration process, okay? I have many slides because, as I said to Corinne, I can communicate in English, but it's a difficult task for me to use all the academic and also particular vocabulary related to my job. So that's why I'm going to present for you, okay? So any questions, you can interrupt anytime.
Can maybe just Jan and Sarah introduce themselves?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Please.
Okay, so I'm Sarah. I'm a final year PhD student at UCL, and my research is looking at green spaces and mental well-being in adolescents. So I'm looking at teenagers and looking at their experiences and interactions with the local green spaces and seeing if there's any relationship with their mental well-being.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Jan. I teach the IELTS and academic English class, the English for academic purposes classes for Olive, for the Open Learning Initiative program. So
Perfect. I really need your help and both of you. What you can add for this project is going to be perfect. At the end, I'm going to say my big challenges.
So we're going to record because we just decided to do this like this morning, really.
Yeah.
So there wasn't much notice for people. So some people were saying, "Oh, we can't come." So if it's okay with you, we're going to record as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say sorry because I didn't say I was going to present something. Okay.
Yeah.
To change this here, Corinne.
Yeah, just go. You can click.
Okay.
I think it should go.
All right. So the name of the project is Welcome to Brasilia. Portuguese is host language and human development. I knew to just speak with Corinne and another colleague, Chiara. I said they showed me that host wouldn't be the best name, but overcoming language. So the translation better would be overcoming language. So it's what's going to have, okay, on the presentation. So here is our international migrants in DF. DF means the place I live. Okay, it's like a region of Brazil, like Washington, D.C., for example, is where the government is, the federal government is. And in Brazil, we have about 1.3 million international migrants. And in the place I am, the region I am, which is Brazilian, is about 18,000, but we are not sure about this number, okay? Because we need to collect more data and the sources are not so secure. And here, it's Brazil. We have Brasilia. You can see in the center of the country, in the center of the country. Here is Brasilia, and you can see that around it we have other small cities, which we call administrative regions. Okay, the course happens in these administrative regions called Guará. I was saying that these administrative regions is where the more disadvantaged people are, socially speaking, and also financially speaking. And we call Guará because of this is the Guará administrative region where the school is situated. And Guará is the name of this kind of wolf. It's from our region, that's why it's called Guará. Here is the school where the course happens. It's a language school. Okay, so it's just to see how different it is. The school's there. Okay, as the most important thing, I guess, is to show you the course public. Differently from the rest of Brazil, from the data we have, the number of migrants, the biggest number of international migrants we have are from Pakistan and Bangladesh. In the course, when we started with the classes, I did a questionnaire to see from where they come from. And you can see that 52% of the students are from Pakistan and Bangladesh, while in the rest of Brazil, the people that come to Brazil is from Venezuela and Haiti. So Brasilia maybe is a place where people from Asia are coming to live there. Here you have the age of the participants. You can see that they are young adults. With the age from 25 to 39 years, but I have students even with 62 years old. Okay, so it's very mixed. Here's the gender. As you can see, we have 76 male in the course, only 23.7 women. And some studies say that for women to study is very hard. So we face this problem there. And schooling education, you can see that they are in a way well educated. Most of them, 48% have high school graduation, 30% and post-graduation 2.2. So they are qualified. And most of them had education in their countries, but it's not being, how can I say, the country is not using their qualifications there, because normally they are working in works that doesn't require education. So the period of residence in Brazil, how long these people are living in Brazil, most of them more than 4 years, but we still have a number, a big number of people that are there for just some months, but most of them about 4 to 5 years. And even though they don't have, most of them 5.5% never had access to the formal Portuguese language or formal Portuguese teaching class. So we have organized this course, me and some colleagues, called Welcome to Brasilia, Portuguese as Host Language and Human Development. It's an extension course because it's the university in Brasilia gives freedom for teachers and also for people that work there to get out from the walls of the university, as you said you have here, and to do something that the community is in need. So this course was approved by University of Brasilia and is done with partnership with them. So here you have the local Secretariat of Education is where I'm working, where I work now as a teacher. And also Brasilia University, where I am linked also in a research group, okay? So we have people that work in the Secretariat of Education that is from the local government, and also some people that are from the Brasilia University that are working in this project. Our main goal is to make possible the process of integration of the international migrants who live in this region by providing access to the Portuguese language and cultural aspects of Brazil. This integration concept entails the access to language, to the country resources like health, education, work, and active participation in society, which is possible only by access to the language. Okay, we have a very interdisciplinary theoretical basis. For example, psychology, we have this idea that all development depends on human language, communication, action, and emotion. They are all together. There is no joint action without communication, without language. So we use Vygotsky, Bakhtin, Hannah Arendt, Lazarus relate to emotion, Souza, it's me, and Overton as well. And related to education, we understand learning as we can use knowledge to transform yourself and the society, never just to adapt, but to change, to bring changes, to solve problems in order to help yourself, others, and to take care of the planet. So here we have Vygotsky. Paulo Freire, I don't know if you know, he's a very quoted scholar from Brazil, and also linguistic. When you say Portuguese is host language, it's my translation, maybe would be overcoming language. It's not to be nice to them, but it's a linguistic approach that is different from a second language or another language that they are going to learn. They are not here as tourists. They are here to survive, so they need the language to survive. So that's our main approach, and also universal grammar, astronomical perspective of the use of language. And here's some of the researches that we base our work so far. Our legal basis, it's just to see that we have some public politics related to that. It's the Constitution that guarantees education for everyone, and also health, and also some basic access for humans. And especially one resolution that says that all migrants can have Portuguese as host language when they cannot speak the language. So we have some legal basis for that, for this offer. Okay, so how it's developed in the school, you know, how we do this, how we make this in classes, how our classes are. Well, who can participate? Any international migrants over 11 years old. Doesn't necessarily need to be refugees, but just need to be from abroad. But we have refugees students as well. What's offered for them? First, we have 16 hours per semester with 4 hours or 15 minutes per week. These classes are mandatory, it means they must attend the classes. They are inclusive and hybrid because they study all together, and they are online classes, okay? And we have also, which I say is something new in our project that I didn't see yet in other Portuguese host language that I have researched about, is this offer called Specialized Linguistic Assistance. The name in Portuguese would be Ali, and I think it happens once a week. It starts like 9 and go until midday. It's facultative, they are not forced to go, and it's face-to-face. So because since we have some students from Asia, especially Pakistan, Bangladesh, and some students also from India, Libya, their language is very different from Portuguese, from English, and they have more difficulties to learn, to understand the other students that come from countries that speak French or Portuguese or Spanish. So we have this moment where they can go to school and we can help them in a way more face-to-face to give more assistance for them. And also we have our extra activities, which are our tours, our speeches, our culinary classes, and our parties. Okay, how are the hybrid classes? Why we choose these online classes? Because we want the inclusion of people in social vulnerability. We know that they are not in all areas vulnerable, but especially women because of the children, and the workers because they work during the day, they work during the other time, and some students, they attend the classes even working. Yeah, or taking care of their children, or preparing foods in their work. So it's like that. So that's the way we have to make the course more inclusive. Okay, and it happens by chance because the pandemic, we started in the beginning of the COVID pandemic, and that's when we realized that this course should be online. And this is what I love more, which is this spatial linguistic assistance. It's to amplify learning opportunities of the students in cultural disadvantage, and I say which is the Asian group, because their language is totally different. Not even the alphabet is the same. So they struggle to learn, and it's the moment I have with them. It's very, very nice. Okay. And another thing, it's we have this approach based on Vygotsky studies when he talks about a phenomenon called primitivism. Even the name is awful. We need to find another name. It relates to students that have delays, learning delays for cultural matters. And he gives the example of people who are not from Russia, from other countries, and didn't understand the language. So their problems is not because they cannot learn, but because of the language. So that's why we based this offer in this concept of Vygotsky, that they need assistance to mediate and not to separate them and to make a group apart from the students that speak Spanish or French. And our extra class activities also is based on the implicit mediation, which says that joint action with less control of the teacher. So they have real effective motivators to speak. So it's to give them more opportunity to speak and to relax without being controlled or being watched by the teacher, because that is all the time correcting them. Okay, here is some photos of the activities we have, the extra class activities. On my left, you can see this student that I'm holding him because he was a very difficult case to me. He didn't used to how can I say, to post, to deliver the activities online, and I was very stressed with him. But he used to attend all my classes, and one friend of mine helped me with him, and he stayed in the classes. Now he's one of my best students. We have graduations. Also on my left, on the down part, we have a literary encounter where they read some texts or poems from a local writer. And then this local writer comes to the school and they present to them, making him questions. And we have our barbecues moment. And here we have when they finish the whole course, they have a day in the teacher's house, and they have culinary classes, and they bring their foods. So it's good, it's very nice. Also, there are some speeches related to work and women violence. So it's our extra classes activities. Yeah, again, like here, I don't know if you know capoeira from Brazil, and Italian cooking. One of students that we have is from Italy, and she came and cooked something from there, our tours. And here is me speaking to them. Oh, you don't understand Portuguese, but just so you see how is the environment we try to build with them. We have people from, I like to say, 4 continents. Okay, here's the levels that are offered. We offered 6 levels or 6 semesters, would be 3 years. The first 3 semesters, it's for them for survival, for them to be able to live in Brazil, to especially relate to their rights, to their duties, and how they communicate, say who they are, where they come from, to solve small problems. And from the level 4 to 6, it's when we try to make their vocabulary more broader in order that some students can finish the course in the intermediate level. Our expectation is that they cannot work just in things that doesn't require education, but that they can go back to the university or start the university and try to make that dream to become true in Brazil as well. Here's how we plan the class. Okay, we always work with teams, and I like to always work with narratives. So I like then to attribute, in this case, my identity and Brazil would be the team. So they need to attribute physical and personal characteristics to oneself and others, expressing preference, likes, and the quantities, some aspects of grammar that it is important, especially for the Asian students to understand more the language. The acts of speak of acts is what we're going to remember, what we're going to practice. And the mediating activities, the activity that we normally use. Our evaluation, they just have to attend the classes, do the homework, and the mediating narratives, which our main evaluating method is to build narratives where they show to us how they interpret themselves, the world, and the other, and they are approved. So that's what they have to do, to attend the classes, because if they attend the classes, they are going to learn, and if they do the activities as well. And here is just to show you how we try to mediate the narratives, because that's why it's our main evaluation, because when they write stories about them, about the world, about the other, they are learning, because writing is it's like a reflexive speech. So they have to use all the mechanisms of the language to write something. They need to reflect on the language. They need to think on the language in Portuguese. So it's to show you how they start the narrative and how they normally finish. And you see that the vocabulary is much broader than the beginning. And here's the student of mine from Asia. I love him. And he's speaking about poet from his country. He's from Bangladesh. I'm just going to give the name. I'm not going to let you to hear because you don't understand Portuguese, but then I can send you. But he's saying about this person. When I listen to, first he needs to write. After he writes, he needs to speak. Then he sent to me, and I correct both the writing and the speaking. Normally, my Asian students they don't use they use the verbs only in the second person, and they don't use the prepositions. It's the basic error, the basic mistake, and I try to correct it so they get better jobs than the ones they are. This is another student, her Portuguese is just perfect, but she speaks French, so it's different. Her Portuguese is plain, and yeah, she's speaking about health in the pandemic times. Her Portuguese is just perfect. She is one person that if she wants to attend a university, enter a test for a Portuguese test, the official Portuguese test, to enter university, she's going to be well succeed. But as I said, she speaks French and the other student doesn't, even though he speaks well, but not as her. So we also have a social function, our course, which is if they have a semester attending the class, the certification of 60 hours is one of the requirements for them to be naturalized in Brazil. So it's something that they look forward as well. Okay, our main challengers, which is literature related to the integration process of Muslim immigrants, and not just for being Muslim, because Brazil is a Christian country that doesn't have tradition of receiving people from abroad, and especially from Muslim countries. Also because of the language. It's very different from Portuguese structure of the language. So I don't know if for them it's been so hard to study without translation. So that's what we need. And lack of time to research, just do the teaching. I hope it will be solved. And financial resources. But it's the same in Brazil. But literature and also to know your experience, if you can send me, would be perfect. And why? Because I brought this shocking to understand that our culture can be very shocking, depending on, even my students that come from South America, they say that Brazil is very shocking, the way we are, we too much spontaneous, we like to touch, we like to, and for them, it's difficult. And they said, Professora, teacher, here in Brazil, they like to talk with us things that we don't like to talk in our country. So we were very, how can I say, intrusive, can sound intrusive. So how they develop in the middle of all that. And here we are the country of feijoada. What's feijoada? Brazilian, little people are vegan. So we eat pork with beans, barbecue, people go to beaches naked. So how they develop, how they face it. So it's the idea to they develop in our country without suffering so much. And here some of the people that collaborate with us, I like to say it's the university, the schools, I need to say about them. And I'd like to say thank you also to you here and for people that are sponsoring and participating of this project. I'm sorry for being fast.
Wow.
But it was just Karina, I'm gonna.
Oh no, well, you just stay here too. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You can.
Fabiola, thanks very much. You went through a lot.
Yes,
Real
just
lot.
to the pictures because I.
Let me just go back to this.
And sorry for the language, please. Again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I don't know if you have any questions for Fabiola, the guys who are here, Sarah and.
That was really wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, I am the one to say thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you so
very
much. It was really interesting to learn how you're doing the integration process. I think it's really good.
Thank you. If you have any questions or something to add, I would feel very happy. Or
The Asian country languages that have difficulty with English or being understood in English are ones with no articles at all. So yes, French and Portuguese and German and all of these are very, English is easier because you don't have to, because we have so few articles. But I find, I'm not surprised that Asian people from Asian countries have more difficulty because Hindi and Urdu and so many of these languages are syllable timed. Syllable timed.
fillable time.
As opposed to stress timed. So in English, in English and I'm sorry about my in English and many of the European languages, we pause on the big words.
Yeah.
Whereas in some languages there is no pause.
There is no pause. Goes straight.
So have you ever used like rhyming, like children's poetry?
Sorry, rhyming.
Yeah, but for children, so children's
Poetry for children.
If I have children in the class,
No.
just for adults too, you
Yeah.
can use, she's suggesting you can use why children's
I
poetry?
see.
Because the poems are very
okay, children's poems in the class.
Yes. So
Right, understand.
what I little things like skipping rope rhymes
Right.
and
I
things
see.
like that. It's just some of the things I use to help people who come from syllable timed languages to start to understand
I see.
the rhythm of English.
Oh, wonderful.
Because sometimes it's harder for them to be understood because they don't get the rhythm of the word right.
I understand.
Yeah, anyway.
So would that, you think that would work with Portuguese as well? There's going to be the same kind of rhythm issue.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The grammar structure from English to Portuguese, I mean, the order is not so differently.
Yeah.
But it seems that in their language that I don't know. And if you have any material about this language structure, I couldn't find as well. At least word or something. The verbs doesn't say the same place like Japanese, for example. I mean, Japanese, the verb is in the end of the sentence, the verb, and the pronoun is in the beginning. So it's quite difficult. So I think maybe they must have a structure like this. Verb change places and can be very confusing. Yeah, but I loved your opinion because I use some poem, but not for children. When I invited the writer, he was a poet, but sometimes it can be more confusing because it's the broad, more how can I say, more metaphor language for them. So they need more time to achieve that.
The reason I use children's poetry is I've even gotten whole classes up marching around to the rhythm of the poem.
Oh, I see.
Because they want, if they feel it, then
I understand.
it goes in a little bit.
Yeah, it's true because and do you mind if they have a different accent, or do you look for it? Because I always say to my students, I love your accent. You just need to be understood, but you need to keep your accent. You cannot just speak wrongly. Use the second person when you should use the first person, the first pronoun, but use your accent because it's beautiful. I like to bring them to value the way of
I like I mean, because I teach specifically a lot for the IELTS test, and on the IELTS test, accent doesn't matter, only clarity.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Only clarity. And so I work on that. So there's sometimes sounds that they don't know how to make.
I see.
That they need just some they need to learn how to make the right sound.
I need to want some classes.
Anyway, it's because in English we speak in this kind of umpty-tumpty way. It's the children's poetry has the rhythm of regular speech.
Great.
So, but that's so I think that it makes them clearer, because if you don't stop on the right word in English, your meaning is lost.
Yeah. Okay. Understand. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Anyway, and it's beautiful what you're doing. I'd love to stay in touch and learn more.
Me too, please. I would love to, and maybe we can discuss about the language structure and everything. So
Yeah, that's fun. Definitely.
thank you. Thank you so much.
So you should maybe say about, this program is now being taken up, I think. You think it's being taken up locally as a policy, so
yeah,
it's kind of interesting.
Okay.
yeah. I need to have the most information and studies as I can to take it there, because they want to make it as a public policy, and the local from the local government, and probably it's going to have every administrative school and every administrative region in Brasilia, in Distrito Federal. Brazil is like Washington, D.C. We have the administrative regions around. They want one course of this to be offered, because now there is only one in the whole federal district, which is mine. So they want one in every administrative city, region, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you encountered the problem of people who have no literacy in their first language, in their home language?
Yeah, I have. You mean students that are illiterate from
They
their
don't know how
country?
to read even their own language. Yeah.
Yeah, I have two students that doesn't know how to read. I'm very sad because one has left the course last. He just studied one semester, but I will try to bring him back, because I'd like to see. He was so aggressive in the beginning. He was so nervous. I guess he fought, but now he was able to finish this first semester more relaxed. And I used to bring him, to let him to participate and to do what he's able to. And I also asked him to come to all the face-to-face meetings to try to help him. I give him like syllables, and I start, because of him, I start to add in the activities more things today draw, to make draws, and also to mark. I because normally I like to ask them to write something, so I start to ask them to mark all the things. So like this, he could participate without feeling so bad for not being able to read. And the other student, the one I show in the picture that I said I liked him very much, I don't know if he cannot read or if he has a problem with reading. He's very good to speaking, but he's very bad to read. And now he's becoming better in writing. So I don't know if he has a problem like dyslexia or if he was illiterate, but one really was. And sorry, but again.
Yeah, no. I actually my first teaching gig after getting my certification to teach English, I found I was working with open classes, so we had everyone coming in, no filter on it. And I found there was a small group of people who had no original literacy. And so I brought in some of the practice sheets that we use for children for handwriting, so that they practice making the right shapes and then start to write the letters. It's very interesting. I'm amazed that they were living and working and surviving in London without literacy, because I can't imagine 5 minutes without literacy.
Yeah, like to be blind.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, I do this as well.
Yeah.
And we also like to produce material for them, because I try to not bring only children. I try to change for others.
It's hard to find for adults.
Yeah, but I don't have time always. So sometimes I use the children. But then what I do, I use for everybody, because the other they are literate. That I say because you don't know the alphabet, they don't know everything. So I use for everybody in a moment, and then I use with them more intensively. But I always have these classes with them, with the alphabet, the syllables, and the complex syllables. I ask them to try to write as well. I try to put some of this activity, to listen the sounds, and to mark the words accordingly to the sound of the syllable. So I try to do this as well, choose for children. But it's good to know I'm in the right way.
Yeah. Well, whatever works.
Are there specific classes also in Portugal, in Brazil, for people who have always lived in Brazil but didn't learn to read and write?
Yeah, we have these classes at night. In the evenings we always have. We have a huge number of people who couldn't read 2 decades ago, and we still have people who are literate in Brazil. That's why they offer always this, and it's very important.
And what about the cultural aspect of it? Do your students seem interested to learn more about the culture in Brazil, and are they participating in the extracurricular classes as well?
Yeah, they are. Some are more resistant, but so far they are participating. I try to value, because I love the culture as well. I ask them to make presentations about the country, about what their how can I say, their holidays. For example, now it's Ramadan, at least for them. I don't know if it's the same. So I ask them to present how Ramadan is. I present also what the Passover is. So I want them to speak about their lives, all aspects of their lives, and I try to speak about the aspects of Brazil as well. I always play with them, because I like to show them how is the formation of our ethnicity, yeah. And I show that we're mixed of Indians, the originary people from Brazil, and Europeans, and some people from Asia as well. And the slaves that come from Africa, from the Africans. And I play with them that we like to walk more naked with less clothes, because they're like Indians, and they show them the pictures of the Indians in the river with no clothes. I said, look, people, it's not because we like that, but because it's from our cultural formation. So they are interested, they like to eat the food. So far, I think yes, at least they say this to me.
Yeah, it looks. I really like the extracurricular stuff, like the tours, and you're making an effort to show them Brazil, and giving them that opportunity to learn more about the culture as well. I think it's really good.
Yeah, and I like to invite other people, other Brazilians. For example, we did in the end of the year, we call churras. It means barbecue. And pelada means when you play football, not formally, in an informal way. So we had this moment where they were able to play football with locals and everything. So I love this kind of, because it's when they learn about the culture and they can use the Portuguese in a non-controlled way, without me correcting, say, so they can be more fluent accordingly.
Yeah, but do you have people volunteering for you, or is it who is teaching with you on the course, and is it a small program or?
Yeah, it's a very small program so far. It's just one school. I'm alone teaching.
But it's 70 people in a
yeah, in 4 classes divided in 4 classes. Yes, but normally but I'm a teacher now. I work 40 hours a week. We have I have 25-hour classes, and the rest is for planning. Thank God. It's not easy, but they give me back, how can I say, so much. They show a will to learn. They show they struggle to learn. So it's something that makes me so happy and so I feel so full inside, so full. So it's a big heart. I think that for this semester, this year, I'm gonna have a person to help me. Last year I had a colleague and they said they are gonna send me another person while I'm gonna help to plan the public policy. But it's not easy. I needed somebody because it's different fields, not only teaching. I have to organize the extra activities. I have to, when some student ask me, say, teacher, I have a problem with the law, or I have a problem entering the university, or I need a lawyer, I need to give assistance. And of course, I have other volunteers that I can say, oh, speak with this person, it's gonna happen, it's gonna help you in this field, or speak with this other person in this matter, is going to help you, but it still is a work, and I have to be constantly assisting them. So I need another person, but I hope this year things are going to get better.
Yeah, because it's not all with refugees and when we're doing like work with them, it's not just the language, it's a lot of different factors that come into play, even with the students that I speak to, like for example housing situations or
Yeah,
family issues, like bringing the family to the country as well.
exactly.
It's a lot, yeah. But I really appreciate all the work you're doing.
Oh, and I'm so happy that you could participate, and if you have something to add, accordingly to your experience, would be very valuable.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Jan, have you got any other thoughts?
No, just thank you. And it's really inspiring work.
Yeah.
Really
I
inspiring.
think it's very interesting because you're doing it in a context where there is very little other work like this happening, you know, like for people from migrant or refugee backgrounds, there is not really any standard Portuguese language provision. When you land in Brazil,
Okay.
there is nobody who says, welcome,
Oh, no.
here is your Portuguese class.
No.
Nobody says this. Whereas in lots of countries, for instance, if you go to Germany as a refugee, immediately you're in the German class.
And we don't attend only refugees, any international migrants. And I think that, of course, being refugee must be something very difficult, but also have some of them that go to Brazil and they intend to live there, and they don't have it's not the facilities but the opportunities that is given for a refugee person. And in their case, some of my students, they are not refugees, and for example, they used to get married and to do lots of things just to get a visa to live there for some time.
Yeah.
And so many things that they don't know. For example, now one of my students, look what he did. He started living with a woman in Brazil, and he has to live in Brazil because of this. And then he went back to the federal police and said, now I want to bring my family to Brazil. And the officer said, but it says here that you married in Brazil. And he said, no, the marriage ended. They said, no, now you go back to your country because it's very ended. How are you gonna bring your wife here? So this kind of things I had to explain. Now let's try the other way. So I worry about then how I could help to then to not get into this kind of situation.
But it also sounds like from this that, you know, not only is there no structure for Portuguese learning, but there are not lots of other organizations working. No other NGOs working on this.
They are split. They are like, there is, but they are not connected. That's the main problem. And that's why when, in my case, I try to bring it together. And what I try to say in I will try to say that they need more people. It's not just a course. It needs to have a course and to have someone to link the education with the other groups, because when they get in Brazil, they have access to everything a Brazilian has related to health and social help, social care, they can apply for. But normally they don't have someone to show their way. So education is a way where they can find it.
Very cool.
Definitely. Thank you, Fabiola. It's really been very illuminating. Thanks for the. We can clap you.
No, I will thank you. And then I would like your contact if it's possible.
Oh, absolutely, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Corinne, you can.
I can send.
share.
I'll send
Yeah,
it.
please share my contact details with her.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks, Sarah. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay,
so much.
take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.